Welcome back to Oak City. This is our Plains and Prairies episode number 30. We are here back in the month of January, so just going to do kind of a situation report to catch up everything that we did get done. We turned around and plowed up all of the fields in the last episode. In between episodes, did turn around and get everything limed. So that is all taken care of. That is all of the fields that were plowed up were limed unless it had basically just been done. So turn around and limed pretty much all of the fields that we have. In order to do that, did pick up another lime spreader so that things went a lot faster. We had two of them out there, just helped get things done a lot faster. Excuse me. So then this month we are going to be moving on to selling and building. We are going to have a couple of build projects to do. We have a bunch of products to sell. The bioplastics is actually going to get emptied out. This is its high mark, so we should see some big return numbers on that. And then when we get the sales done with that, we have a couple of build projects, and then we should be jumping into the start of spring planting. So that's going to be kind of the deal, or the target goals for this episode. And with that, we are going to just basically jump over to the bioplastics there and turn around and start unloading it. All right, jumping in the case here, we do have our first load in the trailer. We have the polylactic acid loaded up, so we are going to haul that out. There you can see it. This one's kind of a cool looking blue. Are going to head that out to our sell point. It's the Desert Trader, Desert Grain Trader or something like that. Whoa. Should get a fair amount of money for this one. 60,315. Wait, did I miss the turn? I don't think I missed the turn. Find out. This one always buried back here. I think we're good to go. 60,315 liters. Anticipating a healthy profit off of this one. These are ones that we are going to just pretty much sell once a year unless we otherwise would have to, but so this has been stockpiling up for quite a while. Definitely not on full production or anything. Oh yeah, there we go. $811,000. Not a bad way to go. That means bioplastics is definitely going to make us a couple of million a year by the time you spread it out across them all. And we only have to deliver stuff, pretty much once a year per kind of item. So at most, you got 3-4 deliveries or something there a year, and you're making a couple million off it, which is my idea of a good time. So we'll turn around and pull the rest. Well, we're going to have two more types of product to actually pull out of here, so we're going to turn around and grab up the next big one. Alright, so this one headed down to our same sell point. As you can see, this one is red, not a blue. Polyurethane is what we are selling here. Going to turn around and sell to the same sell point. It is the highest offer that we have. So winner, not too far away. And then we will have, let this do its thing, 34,011, and that's going to bring in 448, almost 450,000. Not too bad. I mean, between the two, or almost 1.3 million. Can't complain there. And then cellulose acetate is what it is, or you can just call it the salt and pepper. I don't know. It's the one that's white and black, pretty much. For the other ones, we have the blue stuff, we got the red stuff, and we got the white and black stuff. as far as it goes, this cellulose acetate is the one that is going to produce a little faster, especially if you have the wood and the cotton in there. So this one is going to be the one you're going to sell off more than once a year. You're going to end up storing it, something like that. Going to grab another 160,000 out of there, which cannot complain. We turned around and sold quite a bit of that last month as well. Whoa, just ran some. I didn't see that. Nobody saw that. That's fine. So that's going to put us over $2.1 million, which is going to certainly come in handy. We are going to turn around and build some new, as close as that puts us to new land. We are going to turn around and build some new barns. We got to get some of the equipment broke up from here. Things are starting to get overloaded, and if anything, we need to buy more equipment, not get rid of anything anytime soon. So we are going to turn around and have a few build projects this month. We still have a couple more products to sell. We are going to change around some equipment, so I think the equipment swap will be kind of the next thing we take care of, because that's going to change our sales. Here we are with our semi, which we did turn around and throw a coat of paint on the rig there, add some decals, or changed around the decals, turned around and picked up a Crone box trailer, so we're going to start using that for deliveries. And then we did turn around and pick up a nice tanker so that we can turn around and start offloading some of the slurry that we have up at the cattle ranch. That one is full, bin full. We could either start using it out on the fields. Haven't quite decided what we're going to do there, but we have a lot of things that are full up there, so we're going to start draining some of that out. Manure, slurry, these are things that we got to get taken care of this month as well. So we are going to be offloading the delivery truck that we've been using. No longer a need for that, as with the box truck, can't imagine that we'll be delivering too much with the old flatbed pickup there. So selling that going to offset pretty much the cost of picking up the trailer. So we'll turn around and get this one swung out to some of the pickups as we are bringing it in here. Now this will be probably a little bit easier to load, a little bit cleaner to load. Probably shouldn't be dropping stuff around so much. We'll get that opened up, that off. We can jump out here. So we'll turn around and get this loaded up, and then we'll have the corn tortillas over there. I'm not sure if we can get everything on board or not, but I'm going to turn around and start loading up, and then we'll kind of catch up when we get the load on. From the produce to the corn tortillas to the apple juice, we have pretty much got the truck loaded up here. And before we start yanking everything off of the truck, let's turn around and get the straps on there. We're not even going to turn around and worry about closing it, even though we definitely could, but we're not going to worry about it. We don't have that far to go. Our sell point is over here. Truck is definitely nice and full, so this should be an actual... Ooh, I suppose we're going to have to sell. You know what? Let's see what actually happens if the juice sells at this market as well or not. We'll find out. Let's turn around and sell what we can. 209 there. Oh yeah, everything's sold. So 538,000 we'll call it. All right, get that closed. $500,000. So cannot complain there at all. And then that's going to bring us to, we do still have more to sell, to be honest. We're going to have silage to sell. We're going to have slurry to sell. We're going to have manure to sell. We're still going to actually have a couple of cases of cheese there to turn around and sell. And then I guess we will also have to move over our cloth But I think we're going to turn around and start working on our first build project. So we will turn around and hop out of here. Yeah, I totally forgot. There's actually like 2.5, 3 pallets of cheese there. Something like that to sell. We do have our first of our clothes. So that's cool. Fabric, we're going to turn around and slide that over quick before we turn around and forget. Certainly will. And that one, we don't need it running out. We only have a couple of months for fabric to do its thing before we will have a sell there. Fabrics or clothes are going to be one of those, like, we're going to sell it once a year. I think it's April. It's like springtime. Spring fashions apparently is what we're going for. Alright, so we're going to get those over. Those we're going to turn around and store back at the farm for sure. But what we are going to do is turn around and kind of put, now that we're getting enough tractor trailers or enough trailers, we want to start getting more tractors as far as semi-tractors. So we want to have some place to store those is kind of the idea, and we want a transport center. This is going to be like our industrial block here, so we will be shipping in and out of here all the time. Oops, don't need that. So we are going to turn around and put in a, some sort of barn here for the semi-shipping equipment is kind of going to be the look or the idea of it. Look for it. Alright, we'll do that. We're going to go in and customize this. We do want solar panels on there. Going to offset the cost of having it. Let's go in and pick. Our truck is gray. Does it look gray? Gray is so boring on a building though. Let's try to go with, or can be super boring on a building. Yeah, let's do something like that. Where else are we going to put in a yellow building? So, alright, we'll call that, yeah, no, we're good. That's the one that we want. What are you doing? There we go. Now we need to put it somewhere. I think we'll kind of put it back a little bit. We're going to have fuel tank on there as well. Yeah, I think if we do something like that, and then hopefully we should just be able to smooth everything out nice there. Hopefully we can smooth everything down. Sometimes you turn around and get stuck in a spot where you can't, and then your build is no good. Should have turned around and probably saved it before turned around and did this, just in case the stuff doesn't come out right. Sometimes it definitely doesn't. That is one solid piece of advice, is to turn around and save before building something like this, especially if you don't go in and flatten the ground. Probably would have been a good idea in this case, as I can kind of see already we're going to get some ridges here that I probably wouldn't want to keep. If I would have saved it, I'd probably be smoothing that out a little bit better. Or should have smoothed out the ground before built. Ooh, that's close. Good news is we can always extend the road over this way a little bit. Not going to be a big deal. And it is a back access road after all. Hopefully this is not going to be a problem. Slightly disappointed already in the way that looks. Let's see if we can get rid of any of this at all any better. That one is going to have a bit of a lip on it. Well, that might not be so bad now. And into this corner we can stomach. We're not too worried about that. Alright, then we can come in. Now we're just going to keep it gravel for now because we don't really know. Change it with that. You don't want to keep some grass in there. If we don't, it's just going to look boring. So we'll keep that grass in there. And then these. Do we just want to go all the way out? It's always kind of tough deciding where you want to come in out of the middle of nowhere. You know, we could do these all in individuals, but I don't think that's how we're gonna do it. Turn around and get rid of that. Almost should have left. I could kind of like that better. And then we'll bring this along here. We knew we wanted to move that over a little bit. All good there. Cool. Come back here. We're going to grab some grass. This here grass probably does not get, well, this grass I guess should get maintained pretty regularly. Would make sense if it didn't. We'll just run this along here. Shrink that down a little bit. Throw some grass along there. That's cool. Be able to put some trees or something in here, probably some bushes, but we'll wait to see how the functionality of the thing is before we turn around and do too much decorating. We don't want to get a lot of trees in the way of the trucks, obviously, and truck swings are hard to predict. You know how they want to move around when you're getting in and out of a place. The question becomes, do we just go probably out to that? Keep it something in that neighborhood. And then here it's like, how do we want to go? We probably do want to kick something over that way, along with running this way. We could do something like that, and then always bring that, something like that. We go a little bit wider there, as it's certainly for trucks. That should take care of that. Although if we are going to run trucks in and out of here, let's make that a little bit wider. Messing with the bushes now. That should go back. Yeah, of course. You did get rid of a bush. Which that's fine. We could, if anything, we'll add some more. Obviously, we'll add in some more shrubbery, if you will, as we go. But there, that takes care of that. I'm gonna turn around and jump in here. We will turn around and fill this fuel. It's gonna be 57,000. We're just gonna turn around and buy it. And then we'll go ahead and crack this open. Certainly going to come in handy here. We can turn around, repair, customize things in here. All that. Fuel for the trucks. Or currently truck, but what will be trucks, that's for sure. So we can turn around and jump back over to the rig there. We're gonna start grabbing up trailers, and then we will start bringing them in, obviously, to the new garage here. We have several to bring over, and then we will start with offloading the slurry and all of the slurry and the manure, I guess, will be the things. There we are, all hooked up and ready to run down to the slurry. So we will pull out of here, right, probably through the bush, but better than over the people. So we will run this all the way up to the cattle barn, and then we'll grab the full load on and bring it down. So we are here, have filled up the slurry, 100,000 liters of slurry we have on board here. That's going to turn around and empty out the cattle barn there. And then we obviously have this heap of manure here that we are going to have to get rid of. Didn't really realize how out of control that was getting. Also, we're going to have to turn around and fill up the stock for the auto feeder there. So that's kind of going to be our goal. A little bit of slipping and sliding there. But we're going to head this down. We could turn around and start using this to fertilize the fields, but quite honestly, it's just going to be a lot slower than spraying the fields. Yes, it's more expensive to spray the fields. We're going to use this to basically kind of offset or help offset some of the cost of the fertilizer in general, is going to be the idea. So between the manure and slurry sales, hopefully that will offset some of the cost there. If that's not going to get the job done, then maybe we will turn around and start using it on the fields. I did consider turning around. There is that the Colossus manure spreader turns around and actually holds like 100,000 liters and then actually covers pretty good ground. So was considering picking up one of those to start using it on the fields. Likewise, there's the Plains and Prairies slurry stuff, but honestly, that stuff goes through so much slurry and it's so slow that, like, just a drawback to natural fertilizer on the fields. It's really kind of time consuming, where spraying is a pretty fast process. Gonna bring the slurry in here. We will offload that at the little market. Again, it was 100,000 liters on the nose, which is cool. That's what the barn holds, that's what the tank holds. So we'll have to start actually offloading that. $13,000. You know, I mean, you get a decent amount of fertilizer for $13,000, and if we start doing that every couple of months, plus the manure, you know, really that should offset a lot of the cost of the fertilizing. Alright, so we will drop this one in here, and then actually, I suppose we're going to need, we might as well just leave this semi in here with the rest of the trailers. You can see we turned around and got them all in here nice. So we have the cotton trailer. We converted that over for the semi now, so no more using the tractor for that. Did turn around and give it a paint job so it's not red anymore, and put the fifth wheel on there. So it is for the semi now. And then we're going to turn around and... what else are we going to do? Oh, we got to get up there and sell that manure is what we got to do. So we are going to need a tractor and a trailer for that. So I'll grab that, head up there, and we'll see how all that's going to work out. All right, we have turned around and filled up a bunch of the cattle feed over there. So we turned around hay, hay, straw, and silage we haven't topped off yet, but silage we're going to turn around and offload. We have over 1 million liters of silage in there again, so silage we're going to top off and do some sales of, so that's going to help our money. We're going to turn around and let this one fill up, which should take a hot minute here, and then we will head down and sell it. There we are, classic few moments later. And we are all filled up there, 373,000 liters of manure we have on board here. So we will be selling that off. And then we'll be running up for what should be a little more profitable load. We will be offloading some silage after this. Probably a little more weight and quite a bit more value in that. So we will be running this down to the little market. I think is just going to be the best place that we can sell it off. So be a bit of a drive down there, but at least we have the 42 miles an hour now, and traffic is not so bad this morning, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Entering the industrial park here, we will be making our sale up here at the old farmer's stall little market there. Nothing else. They buy just about everything we can come up with. Not anticipating a huge dollar amount here, just offloading the manure to get it out of the way. Well, $50,000, you know, that is not a bummer to get, that's for sure. Good chunk to add in, so we'll turn around and head off for at least one trailer full. I think with this one, we'll be able to get enough volume in this trailer that we won't have an issue having to make more than one trip, but we will turn around and go grab up a bunch of the silage and bring that down for a sale. Here we go, down Industrial Boulevard one more time, if you will. We probably should come in here and actually like pave the main roads or something at some point. As we're growing a little bit here, we'll turn around and pull this in. We did just decide to offload 1 million liters. We had almost 1.2 in there. Still have 200,000+ liters in grass in there processing into more silage, so no point in keeping the stockpile. Everything is full at this point. We anticipate having more before we have a problem there, so just gonna offload the full 1 million here. Never having sold 1 million liters of silage at one time, so this is a new record for us. Should be a nice big sale here. $448,000. Cannot complain. That puts us up over $3 million. Not by much, but by a little. Any bit over certainly helps. So January definitely a profitable month for the farm. Everything moving in the right direction. I think that pretty much, kind of trying to think through the checklist in my head, but I think that pretty much takes care of everything that we have to take care of for the month. Nothing else really on the docket. We can turn around and get a look here at This is our sheep wool here, and we also our goats right about the same amount of milk as we have wool there. So not a lot of wool, not a lot of goat milk at this point, but they've only been up and running for a month, and we do have some already, so they are producing. So I think at this point we'll just kind of check, make sure that everything is done in the month of January, and then we will get on to our other build projects. We do have a couple more build projects that we want to jump in and get done in January before we move on to February. So I think that's probably where we'll be at. I'm just going to make sure that we have everything else done. So we are up at the cattle ranch here, which we are going to put in some expansions up here. One thing, we have a lot of ground up here, so it would be easier for us to have some holding barns, stuff like that up here. So we do have this chunk of space over here, which I think we're going to try to utilize. So we will turn around and drop a save quick here. This is one of those, if you really mess it up, you'd rather come back and be able to turn around and undo the mistake rather than just probably having to live with it. So we'll turn around and drop that in there, and then we'll go into our build mode. Kind of get a look at what we're dealing with the ground here. We're going to want to flatten. We're going to have to flatten a lot in here, which I have a feeling is going to cost quite a bit of money, but we're going to turn around and do it anyway, because this is where we want to build, quite frankly. Alright, so we will turn around and start just leveling all of this out. Pull this back. Alright, let me get in here and I will get this leveled out, kind of do our excavating work, if you will, and then we'll turn around and get into what we're actually going to put in here. There we are, quite a bit of digging done. Our ground is pretty much ready to go, so we are going to turn around and pick our shed now, and we will be putting that in here. Going to turn around and put in basically what is a tool shed. Need to turn around, or would like to be able to turn around and repair all of our things up here that will be stored up here just out of convenience. Turn around and look at our customization here. No solar panels on this one. Just gonna turn around and pick a color, which I think we'll try to kind of match it to the cow barn, which that should get us somewhere in the ballpark there. That is good. And then we're going to try to set it back about as close to the cow lot as we can get it. I think that should do it. And then obviously we'll have some grass and some trees and some smoothing out to do, but we'll turn around and plop all of that in here quick. Right, so for all intents and purposes, this gets it in. We'll obviously probably make a few adjustments here and there. Turn around, have brought the lawnmower up. This is going to be its new home. Turn around and we will have a few more pieces of equipment. Obviously, to get up here, we have planted a few trees. Would anticipate seeing maybe some more bushes and stuff like that come in the springtime, but where it's winter time right now, not exactly the time to be picking out how everything's going to look when it's grown in, that's for sure. So just kind of going sparsely with it, but that is going to be our new facility there, or our new barn. tool shed, so we'll be able to fix everything. We do have a host more things that we're going to add on that property and some stuff that we're going to add on to this property. Though currently with what we spent and the amount of equipment we have, I think this is going to give us enough space to turn around and spread some of that equipment out, just so that we can have some stuff staged up here conveniently without having to run around. We'll probably do some seed and fertilizer, stuff like that up here too. We'll kind of figure out where and how we want to work that in. But I think this is just going to be kind of another piece with the farm like that. So then all we have left to do is, I think, check here. We are still good on mineral feed, straw, and that we're good to go. We can turn around and actually grab this milk and move it down to the dairy, so we'll turn around and go grab that truck quick. Here we are, about to hit the dairy. We do still actually have a couple of pallets to sell off, though I don't know that we'll worry about those too much this month. We do not need the money, and now that we're actually adding to that, we might as well let it just go. Let's go ahead and move down to the dairy there, and we will turn that on. Always nice to get that one turned on. Certainly a large money maker for the farm. Alright, we can turn around. We can put this in. We can turn around, probably store this down here. Hopefully we got the cotton trailer in far enough. The cotton trailer we aren't going to be taking it in and out very often, so if we can get this in there with that. Let's see if we dare try to push it, or if we're going to push it right out the end. We don't want it sitting. It is going to be too far out the end. Of course, we picked the one that's too long. Probably could have got it in there with a couple of the other ones. The tankers are a little shorter. We know we don't need all of those every month either. Not that we want to turn around and leave this sitting in the way, but we can stick it in here. For now, it's kind of going to be the idea. It is, after all, part of shipping. Hey, we didn't even push it over, so it'd work in there. Still fit. So that's all taken care of. I think for the most part that is going to turn around and take care of January. So that being the case, then we'll jump over or back to the farmhouse there. We'll turn around and get some sleep and look at February planting. Here we are, first thing in February, 7:30 here in the morning, which is just about the time the sun comes up. It is snowing just a little bit. We pulled out the case here. We will be grabbing out the planter. Our only real main goal for February, other than whatever we would decide to sell off, we are already full here, is going to be to turn around and get our cotton in the field. So without wasting a lot of time, we could turn around and wait until it's done snowing. We probably have plenty of time, but I don't think we'll have any issues. We are just gonna head out and get the planting underway. There you can see we do have some wool. We'll take a look at our goat milk as we go by. We may be turning around and moving some of that goat milk on to the special dairy aged goat milk. Looks like it'd be a winner to sell, so that'll be another thing we'll get a chance to probably take a look at coming up here. Gonna turn around and run this one down to the field here about as fast as we can get going. Certainly a nice little drive down here. We'll have to start looking into purchasing some of the fields here in the middle coming up and do something with those. we actually have enough money. Maybe that is a thing that we turn around and do, is maybe pick up the fields in the middle there, actually. Would not be a bad, then we'd be our farm about as far as we can see. So we are going to turn around and pull this up to the cotton field here. Turn around and get this unpacked. Guess liquid fertilizer, you know something, now that I'm thinking about it, if we drop this here, we actually do have, who knows, we can probably get a fair chunk of this. Turn around and buy a version of this tractor that has tanks on it, and that would definitely make it so that we could plant a lot more ground at a time. It's just something we're gonna have to think about doing, or I'm not exactly sure what we'll do with the planting and seeding. That seeder that we have turns around, takes up so much space. It's kind of insane to actually have around. Alright, turn that on. We're on cotton. Drop that and go. No point in dawdling. We will have to roll this one, so we'll just turn around and probably get the head row on it, and then we'll turn around and bring in the roller. So at that point we'll just kind of let this one auto get out ahead, and then we'll roll the field all at the same time here, getting the big wheels in the mud. That's actually kind of the fun thing with these tires though. These are great mud tires, doing their thing and definitely serving their purpose. Be interesting to see if this gets all the way through the field with this amount of fertilizer, or if it's always like the fertilizer is the one that we run out of most of the time. We're getting a little bit of wheel slippage in the mud, but as I say, there is a version of this tractor that we could put a tank on that would certainly allow us to cover a lot more ground with the planter. That would be an option. Something we'll have to think about. There's a case planter that's out now too. It's all, planters. That seeder takes up a ton of space. The seed hawks are great. The seed hawk design is great like that. Takes up a ton of space, and as you get a bunch more fields and you have to start universally planting or seeding, it isn't like, having 3 or 4 of those around going to take up a ton of space. So I don't know that that's going to be the solution for when we start planting, the whole map, or getting towards doing a ton more acres. Though we'll just have to see how the seasons affect us. But then we have a ton more money, and we could certainly stand to grab up more fields. So that's going to be a thing here too, as it's spring planting. So if there's time to grab up fields, it's now. But then if we're going to need equipment, it's now too. So I don't know. The next couple of months could be kind of a tricky way to go. It'd be nice to have more equipment to get everything in the ground faster, but then again, having more ground would be a really nice thing too. So I think we'll just kind of see how next month sets in. As I know, March, April, we're going to have a lot of seeding and planting to do, and we'll have to make some decisions. If we get more time, we'll put in more ground there. The only thing we wouldn't be able to get in, and we'd still even be able to plant cotton next month too. When we turn around and take a look at the calendar here, we can see that the only thing we can plant in February is cotton. Come March, we have a host of things that can and are going to get planted. So just the thing to kind of keep an eye on now that we're in the seasons. That's going to make a big difference as to what we do and don't do. We know that this cotton field gave us quite a bit of cotton for last year. We still have, 5 bales at the farm, and it looks like the stock on most things are holding up. And we also have wool in case like the spinnery were to run out. Gotta get spun around here. Whoa, 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 whoa. So it's like hard to tell it. Cotton, a good paying field, so it would not ever hurt us really to plant more cotton. But we don't want to give up acreage that we need for other things either. So, we're starting to farm big acres, but we are not in like the whole you can just not worry about it stage, that's for sure. We're still scraping by and trying to make everything count as much as we can, especially when we know like our next land purchases. We have some pretty expensive land purchases out there, though. I did turn around and look at the map, and one thing is there is this corner piece down here which we could probably pick up for around $1 million and would not make a horrible field. So I think if anything, that'd be the one that we get to. I have a feeling like we'd be able to buy it and clear it this month, which may be a thing. Again, we're just going to go in there and we'll scrap the trees and plow it under and hope that can happen. I mean, we've kind of gone over the process that we do there already, so that isn't like it'd be something that we'd have to show. It'll just be, another field that we'll have to work next month. We're not going to get any cash back or have any great adventures down there, I don't think, doing that field. There are some fields that are going to be kind of up and cool. I don't anticipate much down on that field being the case. That's just going to be kind of a workover field. I know there are some interesting finds out in this field, so looking to get to that one, but that's going to be a $2 million plus purchase. Pretty big field out there. So I think as we are looking at it, it should be, we're definitely going to go through a lot more fertilizer here than cotton or than seed. Hopefully it's enough to get through the field, though I'm starting to have my doubts. So then the debate comes, do we turn around and put tanks on one of the tractors that we already have, or do we turn around and pick up another tractor just specifically for planting? That would kind of give us a specific planting tractor and a specific seeding tractor. Or do we look at, there's a modded Kinsey seeder planter that does everything, and it may just be easier to switch to that and have it universal, where if we end up getting 2, 3, or 4 of them for that matter, they're all going to be able to do the same thing on the same row size and the same everything else. It just makes throwing them in and out of fields much easier with everything else if it's more universal. So may definitely be going down that road. But as I get the hedgerow finished here, we will turn around and pick that up. Then we're going to turn around and set this one to work on the hedgerows while I head down to at least go grab the roller. Having made a little bit of progress on the field here, we are down to about 48% of the fertilizer. As you can see down there, we are pretty close to probably around 50% of the field. Still not getting any reporting numbers on the field yet, but getting out ahead there. So we are going to turn around and jump over to the other tractor. We have turned around and brought that up. Turn around and unpack the roller here. Swing that out into the field. This one we are just going to turn around and stick on the AI. Have it work the headlands. Yeah, start with the up and downs for sure. And then we will just send that one. Hopefully he's not going to go all crazy and head off in some rogue direction there. Roller going to roll no matter what. So as long as it's out there, it's rolling. Which is always a thing to watch with how you have it in the field. This one's going to work way faster than the planter, and we are going to turn around and have to fill the planter. I don't think that's going to make it to the end, so we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on the two of them, make sure we don't run into any problems with them running into each other. As you can see, obviously the snow coming down pretty good here. Planter working in the distance there, keeping on its job. Was kind of hoping this one would go over and dawdle with the little stretch of field that's just off to the side there, but doesn't appear that it's going to do that. Maybe it'll do it on the down on this side. It'll worry about picking up some of that. I figured that would give this thing a little bit of room to get out and run ahead of it. I mean, it's got room, but where we will definitely have to we're going to have to fill that thing up with fertilizer. I don't think there's any chance it makes it to the end. So again, whether we're going to change and add tanks to the tractor to turn around and hold more fertilizer, or how we're going to deal with our planting situation, I'm not exactly sure. I know next month, like I say, with all the acres coming up, we're going to have more than one seeder, one planter probably running at a time. So we'll just kind of have to deal with that as it comes up. But obviously, we're going to just keep turning away at this field and see if we can get it done in the snowstorm here or not. Right, as you can see, the planter is nice and filthy now from planting the muddy field that is our cotton field this year. You can see the roller is out there just about coming to a finish. I mean, that worked out pretty good. We stayed ahead of it. It still has the hedgerow to do, so no entanglements or anything like that. Kept things all nice and clean. Did turn around and have to fill the fertilizers, so burn up almost a tank and a half there of fertilizer. For the most part, that's going to take care of everything. We do have some sales that we can push off. Obviously, at 2.6 million, we're not that worried or strapped for cash. So I think we are going to turn around and look around and see what we can do about maybe picking up a few more chunks or chunk of land for the season coming up. But I think for this episode, we are definitely going to call it a win and say thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel. Y'all have a great day.